welcome to another episode of the Crispy Compact Communiqué, the the 2020 impromptu abridged version of the Crispy Noodle podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in on another crazy episode. I'm Rich Liebig.
I'm Michael Costanzo.
And we've got some interesting tidbits in the world of sports, entertainment, and odd news to get to. We are doing this one live. So whatever we say here goes, because we're not going to have any sort of finessing to edit it. This is it. We're live and hitting the ground running. Mike, how are you doing out in PlayStation land?
I'm good, thank you. Yes, I am in PlayStation land, as you can tell from my Zoom background. For those of you listening to the audio podcast later, I have a PlayStation themed background. That's because I've been enjoying playing my new PlayStation 5. That's right. I was one of the lucky ones to be able to purchase a PlayStation 5 during the opening or the launch week. I'm going to have more details later in the show, but it has been a blast. And just a small spoiler warning or teaser, the next generation is here. The PlayStation lived up to all the hype, but I'm going to get into that later because I know you've been up to a lot recently, Rich. What have you been up to?
Yeah, this week has been crazy after weeks of not really being sure if this thing was going to happen. This week is Campout for Hunger Week for Preston and Steve. And it's just, once again, it's just a great event. All proceeds directly help fill abundance. It's the it's the country's largest food drive. Things are a little different this year with the COVID with the COVID epidemic. Pretty much all donations that are physical have to only be where people literally drive through a drive-through, park the car, lift their trunk. Volunteers come, collect the food, and that's it. So unfortunately, it's not as personable as years past, but that's the way it has to be here in 2020. But at least the camp out is still happening, and I'm glad to be a part of it for another year. The only thing though is that it just causes chaos with my personal schedule. So usually we'd be doing this podcast right on the dot, right at 9. But we're running a little bit late, mostly because of me coming from the camp out. So I apologize for that. But nevertheless, we still get an episode out every single week here on the Crispy Noodle. So you can count on us to still give you an episode. I think we need to dive right into all the stories. There's a lot of stories happening. There could be another sports news story that breaks too right in the middle of this since we're live, because the NBA draft is happening right now as well. So I'm keeping an eye on that as well. But before we get into that, one of my biggest stories coming off of this week was the Masters tournament. Yes, golf was held this past week. Thank the Lord that 2020 did not kill my precious golf tournaments.
It delayed it, but it couldn't kill it.
Right.
Much to my sorrow. But I know you were really looking forward to the Masters. Tell us all about it. Was it a good one, despite everything?
It was pretty interesting. Dustin Johnson was the winner for this year's Masters. His first win at Augusta. He had a very kind of mellow round, if you will, in the last round on Sunday. For the first couple of holes, he was looking a little bit off, but he was able to pull it together and come out with the win. It's interesting though because he had the lowest cumulative score ever at the Masters, but just by the way he was playing, you would have thought he was just playing like a regular tournament or something, and like he didn't have kind of this weight of history playing. But that's kind of been Dustin Johnson's kind of persona, is that he's very kind of mellow and he doesn't let the emotions get to him. At least on the outside, he just seemed calm very calm and very collected, and just pacing himself very well on his way to winning the green jacket for 2020 and achieving the lowest cumulative score at Augusta. Another thing I want to mention is that while you had Dustin Johnson, you also had golfer Cameron Smith, who recorded for the first time ever at the Masters 4 consecutive rounds, all in the 60s. First round 67, second round 68, third round 69, fourth round 69. Wow. Usually with a score like that, that should win. That should be an instant automatic winner. But sometimes it just depends on the field that you're playing against. And unfortunately, he ran up against Dustin Johnson, who shot 65, 70, 65, 68. So
wow. So it sounds like it was some really high quality golf being played this past weekend. So for golf fans like you, it was probably a joy to watch it.
Well, first off, it was just a joy to see everyone back at Augusta. I hate you're probably going to make fun of me for it, but there is just something oddly, for lack of a better word, romantic about Augusta. You know, there's so much tradition, there's so much legacy on this course that the whole sports year feels incomplete to me if there's not a Masters tournament at Augusta. You know, it's so memorable. This is the golf course that every hole has a special name, and if you're a big golf fan, chances are you can remember something that has happened at each hole. Like this is the kind of memories that we're talking about. You know, for us that are really big for us big golf fans. So it was just definitely a blast and a joy that we had the Masters tournament. We saw Augusta again, and we saw, you're right, we did see very, very high quality golf in this. A lot of low scores, so this was not, this was not a game of who was making like the least mistakes or something like that. This was who was playing the best golf, period. And the answer was Dustin Johnson. He came through in this one, winning his first green jacket at Augusta.
I guess they were really eager to get back out there because, correct me if I'm wrong, they haven't had many of these majors throughout the year, right? It's been kind of weird, the scheduling.
Yeah. Well, They had 3 out of the 4 majors. They didn't have the British Open. That was
so it's not that bad. I thought they had less. I don't pay attention.
But it was all shoved to the last 2 months. Which is that's kind of bizarre. That was like, because we had the PGA Championship in at the end of around like Labor Day, and then the U.S. Open, and then it was this one, the Masters. So it just feels like every year the schedule of the majors have changed because they've been tinkering around with it the last couple of years anyway. So now it's like, now we're switching it up again because of coronavirus. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all pans out in 2021. If we'll stick to the same schedule or if it'll be another new schedule. It could be.
Right. They might decide they like this schedule. Who knows?
Yeah. So we shall see how all that unfolds. But for right now, the key takeaway is Dustin Johnson wins his first green jacket. And he's just one of those golfers that he's one of those he's a perennial favorite, always in the hunt, and it's about time he finally pulled a win at Augusta. So it was definitely well deserved and a very enjoyable way for me to spend Sunday as far as I'm concerned, because there was another way you could have spent Sunday and it was not the way that I would advise any Philadelphia sports fan.
No, and that's a great transition to this very sad topic, but the Philadelphia Eagles dropped another one, this time to our division rival, the New York Giants. They lost 27-17. Rich, I mean, even with a bye week, even with getting players healthy, even with supposedly a refocused energy here with the Eagles, they thought maybe we can get to 500 for the first time all season. They still came out completely flat against a really bad team. got outperformed on all sides of the ball. What are the major takeaways here?
The major takeaways is number one, the Giants are actually getting better every week. I said this last week. The Eagles may have had a division victory going into the bye week, but they still were playing very sloppily. They were not playing good football, and a bye week it wasn't going to cure it. On the other hand, the Giants, they were steadily getting better the last couple of weeks, pushing the Buccaneers to the limit on that Monday night game and then pulling off the win in Washington. To me, I was like, this smells like a Giants win happening right here, right now. And I was right. So I was happy that I made my decision to watch the Masters instead of watching that Eagles game. But I did check the stats, and there is something that's very concerning that everyone should be paying attention to, and that is the fact the Eagles got 0 third down conversions in this game.
Yeah.
0.
I think that was the first time in years that's happened.
That's just bad everything. That's bad play calling, bad execution, and just the total opposite of being clutch, because that's how you keep drives alive. That's how drives move down the field, is on those key third down plays where you convert and you get a fresh set of downs. And this team was doing the complete opposite, stalling. This is a season that is quickly going downhill fast. I don't know, man. This is probably
it is going downhill fast, and this prompts a question. You know, this is our classic Philly media minds talking, but with a season like this, you have to wonder, is anybody going to be in the hot seat? Because we've been seeing this steady downward decline the past couple of seasons. Ever since the Super Bowl win, we've sort of been tail spinning. We've been rudderless. So who do you place the blame on? And I know we're only, a little bit more than halfway through the season, but I don't see us righting the ship anytime soon. So is this Carson Wentz? Is this Doug Peterson? Is this Howie Roseman's, mishandling of the cap and failure to sign key free agents? Is because we gutted the entire offensive coaching staff the past few seasons. So, there's no offensive coordinator. Who gets the blame for a historically bad season? And I say historically bad because, as you pointed out, they had 0 third down conversions. Carson Wentz right now is he's dead last in completion percentage, first in turnovers, 30th in yards per attempt. The entire team is just struggling on every side of the ball. So who gets the blame here? Who ultimately takes the fall for this season?
Well, I think those are two different questions. Who is the blame and who's going to actually take the fall for it? Okay, fair point. Really, who's the blame? It's pretty much everybody, but really, Doug Peterson, he has been when you really look at his overall breadth of work, ever since the Super Bowl win and Frank Reich leaving the organization, his offense has been lame, has been pathetic. His play calling has been questionable at best. Sometimes with some of these decisions, I'm like, this is the guy that called Philly in the Super Bowl? Like, It almost seems like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
It's night and day. And yeah, and there's two stories to be told here. One, and I'm seeing this online a lot, the faction of fans that blames Doug Peterson, he deserves a heap of blame, and the faction of fans who like to blame Carson Wentz. And there's arguments to be made on both sides. In terms of Doug Peterson, you see rushing statistics like Miles Sanders and Boston Scott just tearing it up against the Giants. Miles Sanders averaging over 5.5 yards per carry. Boston Scott tearing off huge 50-some yard runs, ran it 18 times between the two of them. Meanwhile, Carson Wentz is dropping back 37 times in a season where he's turned the ball over just as much as he's thrown touchdown passes. So is Doug Peterson trying to force the ball into Wentz's hands to try and, make a case that this is the guy that we're going to rest, the team's success on him, where he should be putting the ball in the hands of the ground game, which is clearly performing better than Wentz here right now. So that's bad coaching right there. That's bad game planning. On the flip side, you have Carson Wentz, who, regardless of the weapons he has out there, he's had, we got healthier. We got Miles Sanders back. We got Alshon Jeffrey back. We had the emergence of Travis Fulgham. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's out there, what play is called. Carson Wentz this season has turned the ball over. He's fumbled it. He's been sacked. He's thrown interceptions. He's made bad decisions, bad throws. Something is not right there. And you can blame it all you want on the offensive line and the rotational players around him, but good quarterbacks find a way to succeed despite those things. And you know that I've been a big Wentz apologist, but I think he's running out of slack on this leash that we're giving him. It's his 5th year. At a certain point, he has to show improvement. And the past couple of years, he's sort of been at this plateau. And I think finally he's on the other side of that plateau this season. So, I don't want to let Carson Wentz off the hook.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to blame it all on Doug. I think Carson Wentz needs to take a little bit of this. I don't call for benching him like some fans do online because, why? What good does that serve? Unless you're really planning on giving up the rest of the season, if you want to give up the rest of the season, then bench him.
Well, going by your logic, do the Eagles really even want to win the division this year?
So here's the thing. No, by my logic, they shouldn't want to, and they shouldn't try to, but that's not the Eagles' logic. The Eagles' logic is if they can make it to 7-9, then it washes away everything we're talking about. Carson Wentz saves the season. Doug Peterson is the genius who rallied the team. We made it to the playoffs for the 3rd straight year in a row. If they make the playoffs, we somehow miraculously forget everything that happened, just like in 2018 and 2019. And I'm sick and tired of that. It's the same story over and over again. The Eagles are terrible. They play flat. They have bad play calling, yada, yada, yada. Make the playoffs. Oh, my God, we're amazing. We're just one win away, Rich. One win away. We just need one piece.
Yeah.
We just need one guy, one catch, one this.
One assistant coach.
I know we're live, so I'm trying to hold my tongue here. But it's BS, okay? I'm tired of seasons where we're one catch away. Good teams are not just one catch away, okay? Good teams are resoundingly beating opponents like we did in 2017. Something has changed since then, whether it's brain drain, whether it's Carson Wentz actually having a low ceiling. Maybe we have to admit the fact that Carson Wentz is not the guy we thought he was. At a certain point, we can't just keep blaming it on the brain drain of Frank Reich and DiFilippo. At a certain point, Carson Wentz has to, this is his 5th year, he's got to, at this point in Donovan McNabb's career, he's won a handful of playoff games already with far worse talent around him. That's an argument I'm seeing online. That's a good point. For as much crap as we give McNabb, he won playoff games with Todd Pinkston and James Thrash, and a coach who called 70% passing plays with James Thrash and Todd Pinkston.
And we have Peterson, who's Reed's disciple in this.
Yeah, but we have much better weapons than McNabb ever did. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I'm just really upset at the Eagles, and there's not a clear answer. We're going to end up winning the division just because we're the best of the trash heap. So, it's almost like all for naught.
I don't know. At this rate, the Giants are playing fine. Let them have the division.
I agree. Let them have it. I don't care.
Let them have a moral victory, and in the meantime, maybe you bench Carson Wentz and you see what Jalen Hurts has to offer.
So would you be a proponent of that strategy?
I think at this point, why even bother trying to save the season?
I think they drop another game. They should bench Wentz and let Hurts take the reins. Because if they dropped a 3-6-1, we're entering the toughest stretch of the schedule.
Yeah, they're already. Yeah, they got what, Saints, Packers, and Seahawks. It's a really tough 3-game stretch coming up. They're all probably going to be losses.
So here we go. The next 5 opponents have a collective win percentage of over 70%.
Yeah.
So, we've been playing not the Redskins, sorry, the Washington football team and the Giants. That's one thing, but now we're going to face real opponents. So, yeah, it's not getting better is what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say.
Good luck with that. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, no, let the Giants have it if they want it. Just
Yeah.
not Dallas, okay? Just not Dallas. Did we kill enough time to get to the Sixers in the NBA draft, Rich?
Uh, no, not yet. We're almost
Okay,
there. So
not yet.
let's do Fantastic Four picks and let's see where we end up in the
Okay,
middle of this live stream.
that sounds good to me. All right, let's dive right into it. The Fantastic Four picks for week 11. Every week, we pick out 4 fun games for everyone to follow in the NFL. And first up, we have a battle for the NFC West. This is going to be a really good one, too. The best teams in the NFC. The Arizona Cardinals traveling to Seattle to face off against the Seahawks. That's tomorrow night at 8:20. Rich, who do you like in this matchup? It should prove to be a very fun one to watch.
Yeah, and
Who'd have thought?
the more I follow this Cardinals team, the more I'm impressed by them. I mean, this team really just doesn't give up. They have had all these fantastic fourth quarter comebacks, including the one last week where it literally came down to a Hail Mary pass to DeAndre Hopkins to win the game. This team is just putting the right moves together at the right time. And I like following them. And on the flip side, Seattle they still got Russell Wilson, but again, their defense.
They've kind of been sliding.
Their defense has been exposed. It's a shame that this is during COVID because obviously there's no crowd. There's no 12th man in Seattle to really give them an edge in this Thursday night game. I'm gonna go with the Cardinals. Why not? They've got a mission. They're trying to upend the NFC West. They're going for it. I like this story.
They really are, and I like this story too. And to further your point about the slipping Seahawks, there's a couple of interesting stats here. According to NFL.com, Russell Wilson has the most giveaways in the NFL since Week 7. Meanwhile, Kyler Murray has more rushing touchdowns by himself than the Seahawks do as an entire team the season. So you see these two discrepancies, these two differences here, and nothing is more glaring than this statistic. Sorry, Arizona is averaging over 425 yards per game, most in the NFL. Seattle is allowing the most yards per game this season on defense. You were right, dead last in defense. Meanwhile, the Cardinals are the best offense in the league so far in terms of yards per game. They won their first matchup against the Seahawks. I don't see why this would be any different. I think the Cardinals are flying high after that big come from behind victory, that last second win. This is it. They're looking to take the crown in the NFC West. They just have to realize their potential and snatch it from the Seahawks. I'm going Cardinals as well. Next up, we have an AFC playoff preview. The Tennessee Titans are traveling to Baltimore to face off against the Ravens. The Ravens have been exposed a little bit this season, much like the Seahawks have been. Rich, who do you see winning this one? The Ravens, not as great on offense as they once were.
Yeah, Ravens, they blew a weird game to the Patriots last week. Titans, on the other hand, they're just you just never know what to expect from them. You know, sometimes they pull off a great win, and other times they're disappointing, like that game against the Colts last week. So, yeah, this is kind of two inconsistent AFC teams that should be aiming higher than what they're punching right now. For this, I'll go with Baltimore. Between the fact that they're going to be at home, I still like Lamar Jackson to run around and cause havoc and cause confusion against the susceptible Titans defense. And Baltimore still has a solid defense of their own that they could contain Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill. So between this matchup, I would err on the side of Baltimore.
Yeah, this is really a tough game. The Titans are 1-3 of their last 4 games. They've not been doing well. The Ravens only doing marginally better. In a close game like this, you look at the defense and you look at the ground game. You know, who can control the flow of play, who can control the clock. And from the looks of it, just going based on statistics and the way these teams are playing right now, the Ravens have a better shot of doing this. They have one of the best ground attacks in the league. So do the Titans. The Ravens are better, but the Ravens are much better on defense as well. If it's a ground game, then I think the Ravens win this one because their passing attack has not been good. Meanwhile, they're ranked second in the league in rushing and sixth in defense. So if it's a game decided on the ground, I think the Ravens have a slight edge here. So if they can really control the clock, control the flow of play, they should be able to edge out the Titans. But this is really close and it's really tough. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the Titans come in there and try to snap this slump that they've had in the middle of the season. You know, they started 5-0. Now they're 1-3 the last couple of games. So they could be looking to change things up. But right now, I have to begrudgingly give the slight edge to the Ravens, although I secretly want the Titans to win. Next up, we have a battle for the AFC West. The Kansas City Chiefs are traveling to the Las Vegas Raiders. It is a Sunday primetime game. Rich, who do you like in this one?
Well, I'll tell you what.
There's some late breaking news that might determine who wins this game. Do you know
Well,
what I'm talking about?
no. What specifically are you talking
There's
about?
like 7 or 8 Raiders players came down with COVID.
Oh, the COVID
So
argument. Yep.
they say that they could be ready for Sunday, but I'm just going to say right here, the Chiefs are 8-1, one of the best offenses in the league. You know, very good all around. The Raiders right now, a lot of question marks. They've had a great story here. You know, Jacobs is having a great year on the ground, but I just think that the Chiefs right now are just far and away one of the best teams in the league. I'm going to go with Chiefs. It's not too complicated for me. They lost their first matchup, so I'm looking for them to come back here in this one.
Yeah, so the Raiders, I gotta admit, they have been performing above expectations this year. It looks like they're going to get a playoff spot and they're going to contend in the postseason. Um, but I'll tell you what, it would be very fascinating if the Raiders were actually able to defend at home against the Chiefs and pull out 2 consecutive wins against Kansas City.
That would be impressive.
Would that tilt the scales in that division? But I gotta agree with Mike on this. I think this is Kansas City. I doubt Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes is going to let the Raiders slide off twice in the same season. They're going to come back making sure that this one is taken care of properly. They're more healthier than the Raiders are. They're more explosive than the Raiders are. Really, when you think about it, don't overthink it. It's the Raiders in this one.
You mean the Chiefs?
Or I mean the Chiefs. Sorry. Oh my gosh. This is what happens. Campout. I make all these lovely arguments, and then I fail the conclusion on my.
I was like, it sounded one way, and then he went another. So I was like, just
sorry.
Yeah, no.
Effects of Campout for hunger.
Yeah, but Chiefs for the both of us.
Yes.
Maybe we'll be on this one too. The Eagles, our very own hometown Philadelphia Eagles, are traveling to Cleveland to face off against the Browns, who are not the Browns who we remember. They're playing much better, 6-3. Meanwhile, the Eagles are 3-5-1. Rich, the Cleveland song no longer applies to Cleveland. Can the Eagles defeat them, or are they going to succumb to the mighty Browns?
Hold on. The Cleveland song can still apply. They haven't won anything in terms of anything serious yet.
If people are wondering what we're talking about, go look up the Cleveland song. We're doing a live broadcast, so we can't play it right now.
Yeah.
But go listen to the Cleveland song.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate to say it, but yeah, Cleveland probably takes this one. Although they lost Odell Beckham Jr. for the year, they just got Nick Chubb back, so their running game is going to be back to 100%. And as long as Baker Mayfield doesn't commit any stupid mistakes, this seems like this should be a nice home win for the Browns, facing off against a reeling and injured Eagles team. The only way I see this going the Eagles' way is if they force Baker Mayfield into making mistakes, which can happen. Baker Mayfield is not the most disciplined of quarterbacks, but as long as that doesn't happen, I think Browns take this one.
Look, like you said, we can easily cause havoc for Baker Mayfield. The problem is on the other side of the ball. We're ranked 29th in offense. We're shockingly, this is what pisses me off. All these years we've been clamoring for a defense. The Eagles are ranked 9th in defense. You wouldn't know it based on the way that they play sometimes. But, if we were scoring more points, it would be completely different games, I think. The problem is we're not scoring points. And I have this little nugget of a stat here, again, thanks to NFL.com insights. Carson Wentz is the only quarterback to start every game this season and have a sub 100 passer rating in each game. For the first time last week, he didn't throw an interception, which is or have a turnover. Like it's insane. The first time all season that he hasn't turned the ball over.
Right. He didn't have a turnover, but he still had to fall on the ball twice.
Right, exactly. And like you said with the Chiefs Raiders game, let's not overthink it. The Eagles are 3-5-1. With a bye week, they didn't beat the Giants. What makes you think that without a bye week, they're going to be able to beat the 6-3 Browns? I think the Browns are going to win this. So there you go. We both agree again. The Browns are taking it against our very own Philadelphia Eagles. It is definitely a dark day in Philadelphia sports. Although maybe, I don't know, you tell me, is it going to get better? I just saw that the Sixers made their pick
yes,
in the
they did.
NBA draft.
Okay, so
what do you got for us? This is late breaking news.
Yeah, this is actually breaking news. Yeah, happening here on the live stream of the Crispy Compact Communiqué. All right,
make us feel better, Rich.
All right, so first off with the 76ers, we had this story that came in a couple hours ago, and that was the Sixers traded away Al Horford to Oklahoma City. And 2 draft picks as well, so they can pick up shooter Danny Green, a veteran, but an older veteran in terms of NBA. He's 33 years old. He has championship experience, but this might be a little bit too much of a gimme for him. At the same time, though, this saves up cap room because Al Horford had a huge mega contract that the Sixers signed, and already it was already deemed that it was that the Sixers paid too much for him. So the Sixers had to get rid of Al Horford and trade him off the books, and this is what they did. So Al Horford gone from Philadelphia, and along with 2 draft picks to Oklahoma City, and in return we get shooter Danny Green. And then the decision made just now, the Philadelphia 76ers with the 21st overall pick in the NBA draft, they draft Tyrese Maxey. He played college basketball for the Kentucky Wildcats, and he is a point guard, which is something that the Eagles desperately need because they're transitioning Ben Simmons from being a guard to a forward. So I guess that makes sense in terms of team needs and everything. He only had 1 full season with Kentucky before everything happened with COVID. But again, that's kind of the situation that a lot of teams are in. We haven't seen any of these players play, for March Madness in 2020. So we don't have any of those stats for these players as well. I guess in terms of teams' needs, this is a pick that you would go with, I guess. So the Sixers need guards. They need somebody to complement Simmons as a forward and Joel Embiid as the center. So maybe this is their guy, Tyrese Maxey. The Sixers draft him with the number 21st pick overall tonight during the live broadcast of the Crispy Compact Communiqué. Yeah, that's what I have for you.
So, okay.
Right off the top of my head.
I did a little bit of research. It seems like in terms of strengths, he has everything that the NBA wants in a combo guard. He's fast. I'm just reading straight off of what even website is this? I don't know. SB Nation, A Sea of Blue. I have no idea what this is. But
All right.
he can attack the rim, he can rebound, he can play the point guard position if that is what is needed. In terms of weaknesses, he can't shoot from long range. So that being, a big part of the NBA in recent years, that's a little troubling. But we'll see how things go. I know nothing about basketball, and draft picks are always a crapshoot. So hopefully this works out for the Sixers. But Philadelphia teams, this is just my Philadelphia fan mentality. I just always assume the worst.
Yeah.
I just always they picked him 21. What is that in terms of the basketball draft? That's like a 7th round pick in the NFL. So you know what? It's good luck. I don't have high hopes.
There you go. So good luck.
Is that unnecessarily nihilistic? Maybe.
That was typical Philadelphia. Just like, yeah, all right, good luck. Have fun.
Oh, man. Well, you know what? Let's move away from sports into happier topics. Let's transition now into entertainment, some entertaining news here. And this broke just this week. And I know you wanted to talk about this, Rich. Conan O'Brien is officially ending his talk show hosting stint in late night and is officially moving to HBO Max. Do you have more information for us here? I know you at least were a big fan of Conan. I don't know if you're still a big fan of Conan.
Oh, yeah.
But
I'm still a big fan of Conan. And this was something that if you're a fan of Conan and you've been following some of his interviews, it's not a 100% total shock. Okay. He has made references in past interviews that he's been constantly analyzing, what is the best way to get, his skits out to the masses, whether it's YouTube. Remember, he was actually one of the first people to do skits on YouTube, before, these other late night shows would clip their shows and put it on YouTube. Conan was doing it.
His Clueless Gamer bits.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things. When I saw a new one of those pop up on YouTube, I always watch them.
Yeah. Conan was one of the first ones to really jump onto the whole YouTube content bandwagon.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising that he saw the landscape and figured, you know what? Why am I trying to bust my hump producing, a daily show when I could probably put together an even better weekly show or special on these streaming services and have the people watch me there. And in terms of his career too, he's been on late night in some way, shape, or form for 28 years.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a run already. I'm sure I'm sure at this point now he's just tired of the daily grind. I mean, he's been doing this for daily, I mean, obviously there's been Fridays that he doesn't, tape, or in some weeks that he doesn't tape, but, for the most part, he's been doing this on a daily basis for 28 years. So,
yeah.
You know what? I think it's well-deserved that he has this ability to say, you know what, it's time to change things up and go this route. And I'm excited to see what he comes up with on HBO Max, this weekly show and specials that he plans on doing.
Yeah, so it's interesting he's going the weekly variety show route, especially on HBO. I'm excited to see, because John Oliver is one of my favorite talking heads right now. So I want to see if John Oliver and Conan will have a little back and forth, or how John Oliver will act welcoming Conan into the HBO family, because there's going to be some fun to be had there, especially with Conan O'Brien taking on a very similar style show to John Oliver. So I'll be very interested to see how that works.
You think Conan would be similar?
I don't know what to expect from Conan, but the term being used is weekly variety show. So in my mind, I'm thinking something similar to, maybe not similar to John Oliver. I guess John Oliver is more news focused, where Conan would be more skit focused. But they both sort of in the same realm, though. Late night, weekly, talking head type type deal.
I guess in terms of pure just labeling a show, yeah, you would be right. But in terms of the actual style of the show, I would think I wouldn't say they're the same.
Well, what would you anticipate him doing? Do you think it would be because he's not? It's not going to be a talk show per se anymore. They're labeling it as a variety show.
Yeah.
So, do you think it's more skit based? Do you think he still does interviews? Do you think he does talking head bits? Like, because I know another thing that he's continuing with, it seems like he's a fan of doing these skits and specials. He's still doing his Conan Without Borders travel specials on TBS. So it seems like he's more interested in doing the variety aspect of the variety shows instead of the talking head aspect of, something like what John Oliver or Bill Maher does.
Right. I think I would say he's probably going to be more focused on those sketches and celebrity interviews, and that's it. I don't think he'll have like a monologue or anything like that. Maybe he will, but to me that sounds to me like the direction he's going in is more towards that sketch comedy focus.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how he approaches this because for the first time in a long time, he won't be beholden to a network. He won't have to worry about, NBC and being, polite and clean for broadcast television. Then he went to TBS. He won't have to worry about, duking out with other cable shows for airtime. Streaming is like sort of the best place to be for comedians because they can say and do whatever they want. And content creators in general, they can say and do mostly whatever they want. So it'd be interesting to see if he changes the formula or if he stays with the sketch comedy route. But yeah, I have to say, I've always liked O'Brien. I never really watched as much of him as I probably would like to, but it'll be interesting to see how he folds into the HBO Max lineup.
I think he'll do a good job folding into that lineup, and we'll see. Maybe it's the beginning of a little bit of a mini exodus in terms of late night shows. Is this format still worth pursuing, especially in this COVID era? Like I remember trying to watch Jimmy Kimmel the one night, and I was just like, this is kind of a weird format now in the coronavirus. You don't have
so
a little bit. You don't have like a live audience. You can't really do direct skits with guests anymore, unless if it's like Borat, unless it's Sacha Baron Cohen trying to be Borat and trying to do something really outlandish.
Right.
So
I was going to say the format really favors talking head style shows like John Oliver. Because the late night shows, with no audience, a lot of them like to do like the on the street bits. They like to interact with the audience, interact with multiple guests. A lot of that, I would imagine, doesn't fly anymore.
Yeah.
But John Oliver really hasn't changed his format at all. So he's really been thriving during this pandemic. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what Conan comes up with. It's set to begin in 2021, so that means they must be, pre-production right now, must be thinking about starting to, I don't know how far in advance they have to tape depending on what he's planning, but you have to imagine they would have to start soon, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what he does. Yeah.
All right, so there you go. A milestone as Conan O'Brien leaves late night. 28 years in some way, shape, or form between Late Night with Conan O'Brien, The Tonight Show, and then his show Conan on TBS. That's quite a run he's had.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so a great late night run there, but he's not gone completely, as he will have various specials and a weekly show on HBO Max. Looking forward to it. All right, Mike, it's time for the reason why you have the PlayStation background as your Zoom virtual background. Mike, you did it. You bought a PlayStation 5. Give us the rundown. What is magnificent about the PlayStation 5?
Okay, so right off the bat, like I mentioned at the top of the show, The next gen is here, and it's everything that it was cracked up to be. I want to start off by talking a little bit about the pre-order and purchasing process because it was a complete disaster. So the reason I'm talking about this is because I kind of stumbled backwards into a PlayStation 5. I had tried on launch day to buy one unsuccessfully last week. I stayed up till midnight on launch day, tried, all the classic retailer websites, had no luck whatsoever. Tried a little bit that weekend, no luck. So I basically resigned myself to the fact that it wasn't going to happen. People were buying these consoles so fast, and you could check on eBay and Amazon. There are consoles on sale on eBay for $1,800, $1,900, $2,000. People buying up 10, 12, 13 consoles at a time to try and resell. They are the actual scum of the earth, and I hope that they make zero money on those consoles that they're reselling because they're actively, ruining other people's fun. So, it was very frustrating, the whole process. So I said, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to wait until after the holidays. Maybe I'll try and get one, Black Friday or, early in December. Earlier this week, I decided randomly to check PlayStation's website. I get put into a digital queue. All of a sudden, I find myself staring at in-stock PlayStation 5. So I said, you know what? I might as well. So I got one, and it came on Tuesday. I ordered on Monday. It showed up Tuesday.
Wow.
I was really surprised. I was like, yikes, did they have this just waiting down the street for people? But yeah, really fast turnaround. But I got the system, set it up, and there's always a little bit of worry when you get a new piece of tech. Are there going to be bugs? Are there going to be issues? Are there going to be defects? And I have to say, knock on wood, that so far everything has been operating exactly as expected. It's a beautiful piece of technology. Everything's working perfectly from what I can tell. I haven't run into any major bugs or glitches or hardware problems. It's been pretty smooth sailing. It was a breeze to set up. And it is so easy to use. And for anybody that's used a PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4, you're going to feel very comfortable in using the PlayStation 5. Before I get into my big analysis of all the things that I enjoyed and the games that I'm playing right now, I want to go over a few of the minor letdowns of the system because it's not completely perfect. And I want to get this out of the way first because there's just a few of them. So one is the customization. Unlike PlayStation 4, you can't make folders. You can't select, certain games to show or hide. It's very much the operating system is in its, first iteration. They're going to roll out features slowly throughout the life cycle of the PlayStation 5. There's no themes. There's very little in the way you can do to customize the user experience. That's a small letdown, but it's really nice regardless of that. Like I don't feel the desire to customize it much, and I guess this will be a problem once I get more games. Right now I only have the 2 games, so I don't have any issues with putting stuff in folders. Everything is organized very nicely, so it's not too big of a concern, but it is sort of a letdown. The other larger letdown is storage space, and this is going to be an issue in the next generation. So the PlayStation 5 comes with 825 gigabyte hard drive or solid state drive, but you can only use about 670 gigabytes of that, which if you've been keeping up with video game technology is almost nothing, because the original PlayStation 4 launched with 500 gigabytes. And now games are routinely 60, 70, 80 gigabytes. I don't play Call of Duty, but I saw online that the latest Call of Duty is over 100 gigabytes. Rich, playing Red Dead Redemption 2, that Red Dead Redemption 2 was, I think, 110 gigabytes.
Yeah, that's a big one.
You put Red Dead Redemption 2 on there, you put Grand Theft Auto 5 on there, all of a sudden, your hard drive is basically gone. You can buy extra storage. You can buy a hard drive and you can add a solid state hard drive. So you're, unlike previous systems, you're not removing the old one because the storage is baked into the system. You can't remove it, but you can add additional storage. But that feature is not available yet. They haven't patched the software for you to add your own storage. So for the time being, you're limited to the 670 gigabytes of free space, which is a letdown, and we'll see how it fares down the line. But it is something to note if you're in the market for a new game system. But those two concerns out of the way, let's talk about how amazing the experience is. And one of my favorite parts of it, it's the direct connection between the gamer and the games. It's the controller. And that is truly one of the most next gen aspects of the entire experience. So the controller, I don't know if you've read or seen anything about it, but they made some changes to the tactile features of it. So, gone is the traditional rumble. It's been replaced by haptic feedback. And anyone that's used a modern smartphone will know that like haptic feedback is when you push, like on the iPhone where you push the home button, it's not actually a button, but the haptic feedback makes it feel like you're pushing a button. So that's in the controller. So when you're playing through games, the rumble is not just the whole controller shaking. Specific parts of the controller can vibrate, and it can change how it vibrates. So for example, in the one game that I'm playing, the rumble will feel different depending on the surface you're walking on. Like your character, as he's running across sand, you'll get like sort of low, soft rumbles. But when you walk across a metallic surface, it's more of like a sharp ping on the back of the controller. It's really, really interesting and something you can't really describe. You have to experience it. The other cool part about the controller is the triggers are adaptive in that they actively resist against you when you pull the triggers. So instead of just pulling the trigger and it's just a regular button, the controller will give you like resistance, some tension where you have to pull back a little bit harder. And different developers in different games can use this in unique ways. Like they can stop the trigger at a certain point where you can't pull it back any further, or they can make pressure points where you push it and it's tight, 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 and then you get past a certain point and then it'll like click and it'll release.
So like if there's like an emotional moment in a game or something where like, do you really want to kill this guy? Like they could artificially.
And you have like a gun to the character's head. Like yes, like the trigger will be like physically harder to pull back, and you have to like, and the trigger itself will rumble as well. Depending on the context. So there's a lot more feedback in the controller, just in terms of rumble and the way the triggers operate. There's a built-in microphone, which is really handy for if you want to search with voice search instead of typing out, everybody hates those virtual keyboards where you have to use the directional buttons. So now you can, unmute the microphone and just speak into the controller and search that way. So a lot of really great new features packed into the controller. It's been a joy to play with it. In terms of the actual experience of the games, so one of the great benefits of PlayStation Plus is you get these free games every month. So without having to spend any extra money on games, I'm already playing 2 games that I've gotten for free. Every PlayStation comes with, forget the name, Astrobot, Astro's Playroom or something. It's a free pack-in game that goes through all the different features of the system and basically is designed to showcase all the cool new features of the controller. But it's a fun little platformer collect-a-thon that's sort of paying tribute to all the previous generations of PlayStation. So PlayStation fans will have a fun time with that. The other game you get for free is Bug Snacks, which is absolutely absurd. And I played very little of it, but the premise of it is wild. You're an investigative journalist who goes to a remote island to investigate the phenomenon of bug snacks, which are bugs that are half bug, half snack. So there's like little like spider French fries and stuff, and you have to catch those bugs or the bug snacks and feed them to these settlers on this island whose leader has gone missing. But there's like this whole mystery element where it apparently gets very dystopian. I've read some reviews where it gets more mysterious and darker as you play through it. But it is just the most bizarre game I have ever seen, catching these little burgers that run around like spiders.
God damn it, why can't they just have a Burger King?
Why can't they just have a Burger King? But it is a blast. Oh, and the people turn into food as they eat the bug snacks. So if they eat a strawberry, their arm turns into a strawberry. It's a really bizarre game, but it's free and it's fun so far, so I'm enjoying it.
Violet, you're turning violet, Violet.
Yeah, basically, exactly. I had a guy earlier who his leg was a curly fry, his arm was a shish kebab, and his other arm was like a series of strawberries all linked together. So it's like really, really bizarre, but a lot of fun. Um, but in terms of the actual system itself, it's been a joy to play. It's been lightning fast. The solid state drive makes it really easy to get in and out of games. And because of the solid state drive, there's a lot of added benefits to the operating system. So, for instance, one of the features that I really enjoy are these activity cards, where as you're playing a game, you can hit the PlayStation button and bring up a series of different activities that you can do in the game. It'll have like missions or trophies. And if you highlight one of those cards and click into it, it will take you directly to that portion of the game. So say I'm, in the home menu and I want to jump straight into a mission. I can use these cards to bypass all the loading screens of a game, bypass loading up everything, and just jump straight into that specific mission in that specific game. It's a really unique concept that limits the amount of time that you're searching for stuff to do. Another cool aspect of the cards are tutorial and hint videos. So for like collectibles, they will have like a picture-in-picture that you can run where it shows basically like a walkthrough that you can put up on the screen as you're playing through that part of the game. And it's really helpful because as I'm playing this platform, like, oh, where's this last collectible? I can pull up this hint video, again, that's baked into the system, and it will play in the corner as I'm playing through the actual level. This is all stuff that developers have to choose to put into the game, but I think that developers will use it because it's a really neat feature, and I could see, a lot of creativity there. Could you imagine activity cards for like Red Dead Redemption or Grand Theft Auto? Say you want to play golf, there's an activity card specifically for golf. You click on that. You don't have to go into the game and drive to the golf course. You're just at the golf course, and because the solid state.
I want to play my golf.
Yeah, exactly. Think about like any multiplayer game. If you want to play multiplayer, you don't want to have to go through everything. You want to jump straight into the multiplayer. There could be a card for that as well. So I could see developers really making use of these features. But it is a fantastic console. It's lived up to all the expectations. There's really, like I said, those few, negatives of the storage space and lack of customization, both of which will be resolved eventually, whether through software updates or buying expandable storage. But right now, if you can manage it and you can find one in stock, I say jump on into the next generation. If you have PlayStation Plus, there's also a benefit where you can download up to 20 previous PlayStation 4 games for free, like things like God of War and Last of Us Remastered. It's called the PlayStation Plus Collection. So unfortunately, I've played most of them, but if you haven't, it's a great way to recap some of the greatest hits from the previous generation on the PlayStation 5. So it's one of the few consoles where you don't have to buy games with it right off the bat. Like I haven't purchased a game yet. And I have those 2 games for free, and I can download more if I want to. So
that's good.
It's a fantastic console so far. I, obviously I'm a little bit of a fanboy given my background. Yeah. But you know what? It's taken everything the PlayStation 4 did really well and it's expanded on it. So I can't wait to see where it continues to go in the future. So very, very promising start to the PlayStation 5 generation.
All right, there you go. Mike's exclusive review of the PlayStation 5. There you go. Yeah. He did it. I did it. The bastard did it. He bought a PS5.
I didn't think I'd be able to do it, but I managed it. All right. I've been rambling, Rich, and I know that it's getting late. We got to get to the final portion of the show. We got to get to some odd news. I think you have an odd news nugget for us this week.
Yes.
Why don't you take us on into it?
Yes, it's time for some odd news. I always have one odd news story before we wrap up the show. And this one has to deal with an actual tree humper.
Okay. There's a term for that, isn't it?
Tree
I'm gonna
hugger.
tree hugger or tree humper.
I just this is camp out week. I totally just ruined the whole story. But anyway, the point is this is a real tree hugger, but he turns into a tree humper.
Okay.
Going to Connecticut in this story. A half-dressed Connecticut man who was spotted humping trees in a stranger's backyard is now behind bars on multiple charges, according to cops. According to a Naugatuck Police Department report,
What?
Naugatuck, that's the town.
And where is this again?
Connecticut.
Connecticut. Okay.
Naugatuck.
Okay. Naugatuck.
Sounds like a dish. I'll have the Naugatuck, please.
I guess, yeah. Like, what cuisine would that be? I don't know. The Naugatuck.
Sounds like a noodle.
I could see that.
You
The
know?
Naugatuck noodle.
Like you get a piece of meat and you have to fold the noodle a certain way, and that's your Naugatuck.
What? You are really tired.
Yeah.
You get a piece of meat and you have to fold the noodle a certain way. What are you talking about?
Yeah, like a wonton kind of a thing.
Oh, like a wonton. Okay, so like a dumpling or a wonton.
Like a dumpling, yeah.
Okay.
So
but this
you get
is different than a dumpling.
So you get your meat, and then you get the noodle part of it, and you have to
you Naugatuck it.
Right, and you Naugatuck it, yeah.
Of course, right. It's like a verb. You Naugatuck it.
Yeah. See, there you go.
I Naugatuck, you Naugatuck, he, she, it Naugatucks.
Right, and I'll have extra Naugatucks.
There you go. It sounds delicious.
Yeah.
But not in the case of this person with hugging the tree. So
yeah. So according to the Naugatuck Police Department report, officers were dispatched Thursday afternoon.
All right, in the afternoon delight with the tree. Okay.
Yeah, it's some afternoon delight. I want to be with nature. Ah. A 911 caller reported that there was an unknown male in her backyard, that the male was half dressed. He was screaming, eating leaves and branches, and then the coup de grace, then humping the trees. So he had like a kind of a smorgasbord of nature's delights.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, he was really getting into it. So he was eating it, you said.
Yeah,
right?
He was eating leaves and branches,
and then also having sex with it.
Yeah, he was humping the tree. That's the end. That's the banger. Bam.
That's the banger. Okay. So in case anyone's wondering, I found the term for all this. So it's dendrophilia, which means the love of trees. So there's also arborophilia. Why are there so many terms to describe a sexual attraction to trees? That's what I want to know.
Because guys like these, you got to have them ready for stories like these.
Okay. So he's a dendrophiliac. So he's having sex with this tree, and this woman calls the police, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens then?
When cops arrived at the house, the suspect got scared and ran into the neighboring house, causing everybody in that house to flee in fear. Get out of here! Oh my
God! That's a great image of he's just like storms to this house and everyone just like let's just freak out and they just scatter in different directions.
Yeah. Scatter!
Oh.
When he tried to exit the residence, that's when cops were able to finally subdue him, and he was placed under arrest. That's when they were able to identify the man as 36-year-old John Fignar.
Fignar.
Fignar,
Okay.
yep. While he was being arrested, he spat at police officers, which resulted in an additional felony charge.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's assaulting a police officer or battery, or I can't remember what it is, but it's not good. You can't spit at cops.
Yeah, not good. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're at the point where they're throwing the cuffs on you, yeah, just go with the flow.
What do you
you're
think
done.
spit's gonna do?
Yeah.
You spit on them and like what? The handcuffs are going to evaporate. They're gonna be like, oh no, he got me with spit. Better let him go. Like I get it. You're trying to be defiant. You're trying to like get one last shot in, but all it does is give you extra charges, friend.
Yep.
You know?
He has the following charges: breach of peace, resisting an officer, and trespassing.
Breach of peace. I haven't heard that one ever.
Yeah, that must be a
I like
Connecticut
that.
one. Breach of peace. How dare you breach the peace?
You breach the peace.
Yep.
It must be so peaceful up there. You know, they made laws about breaching it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
His bond is $25,000. And as is tradition, I have his mugshot. So
Okay.
there he is.
I could see that being someone who loves trees. Yeah, definitely.
He loves his trees.
He loves his trees.
He's trying to hack into the Matrix.
Yeah, interesting choice of background, by the way. Richard's Zoom background is like the Matrix command room. And now it has this
this guy.
This tree hugger humper.
Where's the trees? Why are there no trees?
Man, I never understood. I mean, he's definitely under the influence of something, right? Like nobody does that sober.
I would hope so.
Because I can't imagine that's comfortable or fun for you or the tree.
I'll tell you what, in this story, it doesn't say anything about alcohol or drugs.
So he ate leaves and branches and then had sex with a tree stone cold sober.
I mean, I don't know. It could be the fact that maybe the cops just... the cops in Connecticut just don't want to know. You know what?
They just don't want to know. Well, I think they have to know, Rich. This is these are the questions they have to ask.
It's Connecticut. It's peaceful life. We don't care.
It's peaceful life in Connecticut.
Yeah.
He was breaching the peace.
Do whatever you want to until you breach the peace. That's
very vague. That's very vague, isn't it? Breach the peace.
Yeah. Do whatever you want to until you end up breaching the peace. Then that's a big no-no.
You know, I don't like that term breach the peace. I liked it at first because I'd never heard of it, but now I don't like it because it seems very vague to me. If I start walking around clapping real loud, is that breaching the peace? Because I'm sure I'm intruding on somebody's peace, right? So
if you go outside and you start banging on your neighbor's house, yeah, that would do
let
it.
me see.
That would be breaching the peace, making too much noise.
Let me see. I'm researching on Wikipedia about breaching the peace.
Does it come up as an actual term?
Kind of, yeah. So breach of peace or disturbing the peace, which is how we usually hear it phrased. The Supreme Court. So there's a court case in '65. The Supreme Court held that a Louisiana statute criminalizing breaches of the peace was unconstitutionally vague and overboard because it would allow persons to be prosecuted for expressing unpopular views. Okay. But it doesn't say what it actually is. It just says that they found a Louisiana statute to be too vague. I don't know. I don't like it.
I don't like it.
And that's my final word on it. Breaching the peace is too vague. Disturbing the peace, also known as breach of peace, is a criminal offense that occurs when a person engages in some form of unruly public behavior, such as fighting or causing excessively loud noise. When a person's words or conduct jeopardize another person's right to peace and tranquility, he or she may be charged with disturbing the peace.
Well, literally...
I'm laughing because I'm just imagining somebody like clapping real loud next to somebody's head and getting charged with disturbing the peace.
Well, going back to our odd news story, this guy's literally disturbing someone else's peace. This poor tree is getting the receiving end of this dude.
Right, exactly. Really, the tree is the victim here. The tree can't even move. The tree can't defend itself unless it's like poison oak or something, which you got to be careful with your fondlings of plant life.
Yeah. You don't want poison Wang.
The poison Wang. Wow. Okay.
Not good. That's what the doctors call it.
Yikes.
Poison Wang syndrome. Not good.
That's the official term. You go to the doctor and they're like, well, it looks like you got poison Wang syndrome.
Yep. Sorry.
PWS. Not good. Not good.
May we try a Splenda?
What?
I don't know. This is something wacky.
You need sleep is what you need.
Yeah, I think that's a good transition because my apocalypse activity is I'm gonna get some sleep because I'm gonna need some sleep at the end of this week.
Rich is like Kramer in that one Seinfeld episode. He's past the E.
Yeah. Yeah. So besides sleep, what's your apocalypse activity, Mike?
So my apocalypse activity is the second best activity after sleep, and that's eating. You guys know that I'm obsessed with these stupid subscription boxes. I got a new one that I've seen advertised on Facebook and Instagram because I'm terrible and I actively engage with those ad posts. But Universal Yums is
okay.
a snack food subscription box where every month they send you snack foods from a different country, right? So like this month and the reason I subscribed it was snacks from Italy. And so they send you a package of like 12-ish snacks from that country. So in my Italy box, I got ketchup potato chips. I got tomato and basil bruschetta like crisps. I got
that sounds nice.
Yeah, I got some like tiramisu flavored truffles. You know, those like Lindor truffle kind of things. I got
this one sounds good.
Yeah, I got some amaretti cookies. Those little almond cookies. Like I got like all the classic things that you would I assume if you're buying snack foods in some market in Italy, this is the stuff you would find. But I've seen boxes advertised before, like Scandinavia and I'm trying to think of the other countries I've seen. I know they did France recently. So I'm really eager to see what other countries that I can get snack foods from. I know next month it's either going to be Australia, Indonesia, or I think it was New Zealand or something like that. So it'd be interesting. I kind of want Australia to see what kind of snack foods they have in Australia. But it's fun, if you're looking to try something weird and different, I always recommend these snack food subscription boxes because like how often do you get to try snack foods from a different country like that? I had a Japanese snack food box for a while called Baksu, which was great, but I got tired of it because it was just the same flavors over and over again. And so with Universal Yums, I'm going to be getting different flavors and different types of snacks because they're coming from all these different countries. So I'm really eager to see what, is coming up in future months of this subscription box. So there you go. My apocalypse activity is to literally eat snack food and spend way more money on it than you reasonably should.
And mine is just to sleep.
Yeah.
So,
we're really running out of apocalypse activities.
We'll come back next week and have some better ones. So
yeah, maybe.
So there you go. Apocalypse activities for this week. And with that, it's time to start wrapping up this show. I'm getting sleepy. I need to start getting ready for bed on this special live episode. Thank you guys for tuning in and enjoying our crazy little show. If you like what you heard, make sure you go to thecrispynoodle.com. Make sure you follow us on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you'll know all the news and any other things that you want us, anything that we want you to hear about, we'll send it to you on all those social media platforms.
That's right. You can also subscribe to our channel on YouTube, where you can find these video versions of the podcast in addition to a bunch of other videos we've put out over the years. You can still get the audio version of these podcasts if you subscribe to the Crispy Noodle podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, or Google Podcasts. So make sure you search for, download, and subscribe to the Crispy Noodle podcast on either YouTube or the podcast service of your choice.
That's right. And we also have a SoundCloud page where you have the mini noodles, the best bits of the show that we shrunk down into a quick 2-minute promo clip that you can easily listen to with friends and family, the craziness that is the Crispy Noodle podcast.
That's right. So many ways to share and get in touch with the Crispy Noodle podcast. But if you want to get in touch with us individually and send us your stories for sports, entertainment, or odd news, you can find us on Twitter. I'm at Mikey Costanzo, MikeyCostanzo.
And I'm Matt Rich Liebig, RichLiebig. Find us on the Twitters and let us know what's happening in your world. But for right now, it's time to wrap this up. This has been the Crispy Compact Communiqué, the shortened version of the Crispy Noodle podcast for 2020. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. I think that's going to do it. I'm ready for bed.
Yeah, it's time to go.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next week.
All right, see you guys.
Later. Bye-bye.